Hi everyone, SM Cornthwaite here, the author of Jack the Ripper, The Man Behind the Blade, as well as the HollowScreams series, which is a children's horror series. You can purchase them all now on Amazon. And I wanted to do something a little different with this channel. I've been trying to think of what to do with it for quite a while now. And I've always wanted to do a booktube style channel. So I figured that's what I would do with this channel. This is my original channel. This is where I started, and I've kind of developed my other channels from this one along the way, and they've kind of taken up their own channels. So now I just wanted to dedicate this one to books, all things books. So the book I am going to be showing you today is a Barnes & Noble classic leather-bound edition of 3 stories by Stephen King: Carrie, The Shining, and Salem's Lot. This is a beautiful cover. I can't remember how much I paid for this at Barnes & Noble. I picked it up over the summer. I've always wanted to get Carrie and The Shining, and I really wanted to read Salem's Lot. I picked up a paperback copy of Salem's Lot, and then I found this one, and I had to have it. So I put the paperback back, and I picked this one up. And I've read Carrie so far, and I'll probably save these two for after the first of the year. So far, I've consumed about 75 books between regular physical books and audiobooks through Scribd and Audible, sites like that. So I don't really want to get anything started until after the first of the year. So the first one I'll probably do will likely be The Shining, followed by Salem's Lot. And let's just admire this cover for a minute. I really, really enjoy it. I like how they use the Pet Cemetery style Stephen King brand author logo here. It's very, very nice. It's a lot different than his other books, but it is very reminiscent of Pet Cemetery, which the latest film I didn't really care for, simply because the girl who dies and gets it all kicked off in the movie, she was the same age as my daughter at the time the movie came out, and her name was so very close to my daughter's name. I couldn't watch anymore after that. Really brought up some horrible thoughts. So with that being said, from what I hear, this is supposed to be genuine leather. Here's the binding. You have the 3 slash marks on the top, followed by Stephen King's name, bucket of blood referencing Carrie, 3 novels, 3 more slash marks, and then you've got the Stephen King logo on the back, which is very cool. And I did read, as I said, I did read Carrie already, and it is the first story in the book. And I'm not sure if the actual individual book for Carrie is like this, but I'd imagine so, considering how they have it here. But one thing I found kind of off-putting was that Stephen King didn't divide it up into chapters. There's this long section, Blood Sport, which leads all the way up to the prom. And then after that, there's Prom Night, which is part 2. which makes it very difficult to find a stopping point. When you've read enough for the night, you can't really read anymore. You really have to remember exactly where you left off. And then there's part 3, the Wreckage, which takes place after prom night. And I was wrong. Salem's Lot is the second one, the second book, or second story in the book. But that was one thing I found very offsetting. Carrie was Stephen King's first published novel. It wasn't his first novel he ever wrote. I believe, I could be wrong. I think The Shining might have been his first novel he ever wrote, but like I said, I'm likely wrong about that. I do know he wrote a novel before Carrie. However, he didn't publish until after Carrie. So, but the pages do have that silver, like leafing, I guess you call it, and it does have like a satin ribbon inside. Which, as you can see, I do have each of the books, the stories in this marked with the bookmark. But it does have a satin ribbon that you can use as a bookmark. However, when I'm reading a book that has multiple stories in it, multiple books in it, rather, I prefer to have those books almost kind of labeled, I guess you'd call it, bookmarked, just so I can know exactly how much longer the book the story I'm currently reading is, and there we go. And so if I go to pick it up later, if I decide to read it out of the order that the author or the publisher has it in the book, I can go straight to it without thumbing through the pages. Like if I decided to go with The Shining next, I could go right to that. If I decided to go with Salem's Lot next, I could go straight to that. I do usually read 3 books at a time on top of whatever audiobooks I'm listening to at the time. And that's to help keep me from getting bored with a book. So what I'll do is I'll read a chapter in one book in the mornings when I get up. And then around 3 o'clock or so, I'll read a chapter in another book. And then before bed, I'll read a chapter in another book, in a third book. When I'm in the gym, I'll have an audiobook I listen to, which I'll also listen to when I'm doing dishes or cooking dinner or whatever. So I generally consume about 4 books at a time. And as I said, I did go through about 75 books this past year for 2021. So yeah, I can't wait to get started on Salem's Lot and The Shining. Since Salem's Lot is next in this book, I'll probably do that next, since that's the one I was looking most forward to reading. I have a few other books I just got for Christmas that I plan to dive into after the first of the year as well, and I'll probably review on this channel. One of those is The Silent Wife by Karen Slaughter, and the other one is The House of Whispers. I also recently got into Darcy Coates novels, as well as Lisa Strong. So I'll be reviewing those books as well in the near future. So yeah, that's it for this one. This was my first Barnes & Noble leather-bound book, and I really like it. It's really turned me on to the Barnes & Noble classic leather-bound books. My wife bought me 2 for Christmas that I plan on getting into as well, which I'll go over in the next video. But yeah, if you find yourself at Barnes & Noble, come across this, I would highly recommend picking up. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. The inside, as you can see, there's crosses. Looks like hammer, keys, locks, some wasps or hornets or whatever. So yeah, I highly recommend picking up the Barnes & Noble classic leather-bound books. You can even find them on Amazon as well. Also, don't forget to pick up copies of my books, which started off with Jack the Ripper, the Man Behind the Blade. It's my own original theory as to who the Ripper was. I published through Author House for this one, but it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the major retailers. And then we have the HollowScreams series, which I will be working on more for this series in the near future. The first two I wrote simultaneously. Day of the Dolls, which is based or inspired by a recurring nightmare I had growing up, and Ghost House. These are for children, ages 7 and up. Very similar to Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Scary Stories to Tell in Dark, Disney Chills, stuff like that. So I highly recommend getting these fairly cheap on Amazon. Check them out, buy them. They are also available on Kindle. I publish these through Kindle Direct Publishing, which I'll probably continue publishing the HollowScreams series through. So you can really only get them on Amazon and Kindle. Jack the Ripper, the Man Behind the Blade. It is available in all formats. Paperback, hardcover, ebook, and audiobook, narrated by the very talented Benjamin Hunter, who I do a podcast with on the Psychology of the Unknown YouTube channel, which you should totally check out. I am working on a few other books that I will be debuting here soon. So again, thanks for tuning in. I've been SM Cornthwaite. Take care, readers.